Hey, Sean, thanks for your time as always. Appreciate it. How, since you, I guess, over the last 2, 3 months, how has your relationship and your connection with Kirk evolved?
Yeah. It's been pretty easy actually with Coach Shurmur. I think we connected right from the beginning. I think that he's a very easy person to talk to, especially when you're in the football facilities. We get along really well, solely just because, we both love the game. So it's really easy to talk to him. I think that both of us are extremely hard workers, and so the minute that we had the chance to finally get going, I think that also just helped our relationship. But it keeps growing every day, on and off the field. I'm getting to know him in so many ways, and I think that he's just an outstanding coach so far. Really changed my thought process on some things, made the game a lot easier for me, and I'm excited to put that product on the field coming up soon.
Joe Giuliano?
Sean, what's it been like to have that in-person connection with Coach Shurmur now that you guys are back on campus? And what is like the main message he's given you?
Obviously it's been great to be back in person. We're getting tested every day now by the Big Ten, which I think is phenomenal, that the Big Ten put that together and got this season going. I'm very thankful for Commissioner Warren and all the work that he's put in to get this thing rolling. Because, it's been difficult times, honestly, for our team, our community, our country. So I think that, just having this little bit to be able to come in, see my friends in a safe environment with my coaches and get to play the game that I love, that's definitely been something that I've been having a blast with so far. This season, although very weird, and I'm sure it's only going to get weirder as the season goes on, just with no fans and everything. But I think that it is nice to have some control in your life, finally, with such a hectic beginning and middle of 2020, to finally kind of get something that is normalized. And then what was I forget your second question.
Just having personal contact with Coach every day, and what his message has been to you going forward as you prepare for your first game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that it's just approach every day the same. Get your 1% better each day, and find something to improve on. Because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And that's something that I've learned from the day I stepped in here. But Coach Shurmur really harps on the details and finding the littlest things to get better at. And I think that that's something that I've taken every day. I've written down in my notes before each practice at least 3 things. All right, I got to focus on this, this, and this for sure. I need to get better at this today because I wasn't as good as I wanted to yesterday. So I think that approach has really helped me. Not much different than how I have in the past, but I think Coach Shurmur has brought a bunch of different points. I could go on and on about the things that he's brought to the table, and I'm just excited to keep grinding. We got a few more weeks before our first game, so it's right now we're focused on ourselves.
Ben Jones, and just a reminder to use the raise your hand function, and we'll get to you in our little order here. Ben?
Sean, we were talking to Noah, who was kind of joking that when he got to Penn State, he didn't really like Journey all that much because they had sort of a different personality. Noah's sort of like a quieter guy. Journey's, a little more outgoing, and it took a while for them to kind of, find that friendship, not in a bad way, just sort of in the nature of meeting new people and things like that. How long does it take to kind of build an actual rapport with guys? Maybe, some of the receivers that you're working with, and is that a challenge nowadays when, it's not like you can all just hang out the same way that you used to?
Yeah, I find that funny. I really haven't dove into that relationship. Every room has their goods and their bads, but I've seen nothing but true friendship from Journey and Noah and Devin. All those guys in that room is have been phenomenal. But I think it's definitely a weird time to get to know certain people. I think that it was definitely weird coming in the facilities, I would say, when we started lifting, and then probably the past few weeks to the month, there were some freshmen that I still had never met before in person, because we just hadn't had that opportunity. We haven't had summer workouts. We didn't have the 7-on-7s that we were doing like we were in the past. There's just a lot of things where there'd be good opportunities. You talk about leadership all the time, and you try to get around as many people as you can. But at this point in time, you just can't see certain people. So it's definitely been a harder task to get to know everybody. But I think that, finally getting the whole team together, practicing as one, I think that it's gotten a little bit easier, finally seeing everybody. But it's definitely been a weird time to develop relationships.
Rich Scarcella?
Sean, what does it mean to you to have such an experienced offensive line back? What do you project for them this season? And can you describe the leadership of Michael Menet?
Yeah. I think that one of the most exciting parts of our team is the experience and the talent of our offensive line. I'm not going to speak on offensive lines in the past, but the one that we have currently, I think, is one of the best in the country. I'm super excited. And it gives you confidence as a quarterback. It truly does. When you can sit back there and you know that you got 5 guys in front of you that are A, going to give their all for you, and B, they have the talent to do so. And I think that in the past, maybe we haven't had all the talent. But I think that these past few years, Coach Franklin has just recruited some really good players and good character guys. And, just going down the line, I know that each of them have my back. So I think that I'm super excited as a quarterback to start playing with them. And I'm glad that we have this opportunity to play, because I would have been nervous if we wouldn't have been able to, because we have so much talent. But and then getting to Mike, Matt's definitely one of my best friends. We've developed a really good relationship over the past couple of years. I think that obviously last year we really got to know each other. Just with the center quarterback connection, you just have to have a good relationship. And it's easy with Mike, just because of the guy he is, the character, the work ethic. We align with many different things. So I think that Menet and I are on the same page. We're excited for the year, and I think that we have some special things in plan for sure.
Tyler Donahue?
Sean, you mentioned this. We heard it from players earlier that the team chemistry is catching up because of what's going on this year, particularly with you and this receiver group. Outside of Jahan, not a lot of live bullets with some of these guys in the games. How are you working on that? How can you play catch up? And what's been your overall impression of this receiver group under a new coach?
Yeah, I think that Coach Shurmur has done a really good job of focusing, like I said before, on the details. And when you're talking about the passing game, I think that details are extremely important, because you talk about how much time we missed. We missed spring ball. We missed a lot of summer reps during quarantine. I was throwing to my brother and Jahan, DG, Dre, all those guys, CSB. They were all sending me videos of them running routes so I could try to visualize in my head what these certain routes were going to look like. But getting on the field finally, I think that it's just extremely important that we talk through everything. Communication is key for me. And, if I have a problem with a guy running a certain route, or if I really liked a certain route, I'm going to express that to him, because I know that we're kind of battling the clock here on the amount of time, especially with some of these younger guys that are going to be key factors in our offense. So I think that communication is definitely a huge factor. And that's on me, just to make sure that I'm communicating with not only the players, but also Coach Stubb on what I like, what I don't like, and making sure that those details are there.
Joe Giuliano?
Sean, I wanted to go back to your answer about building relationships. Coach Franklin has mentioned that he's disappointed that in this day and age you can't bring guys over for dinner and you guys can't have bowling parties or anything like that. And he was concerned about chemistry. Are you concerned about building chemistry on this team? And what do you and the other leaders have to do to make sure that that's not a problem?
I wouldn't say I'm concerned about it. I think that it's going to happen naturally. You can't force chemistry, obviously. If you force chemistry, it's not true. So I'm not going to force anything. But at the same time, it is much more difficult this year because, you can't, after practice, go grab some ice cream with a group of guys. You can't go out to eat like you used to. We can't go to the bowling alley, the pool party, miss a practice, or Coach Franklin brings us all up and tells us that we're going to Champs to get food and shoot pool. So those little moments we just don't have with some of these guys. But I think that we all just got to focus on the task at hand. Focus is a key thing right now, and sacrifice is a key thing for us. I think that the leadership has done a really good job of trying to get around as many guys as we can. But obviously, as you know, with COVID and how serious it is, it's just tough. But I definitely say it's not a concern, but at the same time, it is definitely, I would be lying if I said it wasn't more difficult to create chemistry. But I think that with the group of guys that we have, we all have the same mission. So we're definitely extremely focused on the goal.
Justin Morgenstein?
Sean, so I'm wondering, you guys got a really good look at Kirk's offense, obviously, last year when you went up to Minnesota. What has been, the biggest difference so far, working with him firsthand rather than just observing and watching film?
Yeah. I think that, when you watch the tape, I think that you see an offense that is very detail-oriented. You don't see a lot of MAs. And, when you get to know Coach Shurmur, you understand why. He's a guy who's not going to allow you to – if he wants you to run your route at the third inside step, he wants you to run the route at third inside. If it's second or fourth, then he's going to get on your ass. So I think that, Coach has done a great job. I keep going back to the details, but that's kind of been the name of the game with this offense right now is details are the most important thing because – A, it's a new offense, and B, at the same time, like I said, we're battling the clock. We don't have much time, and we haven't had the spring and the summer to develop as the way that we've wanted to. Obviously, I have trust, and I know I've seen it on the field how hard everybody's been working away from the facility. But football is a team game, and you need to get everybody together, and the chemistry needs to be there. So, we just need to keep grinding out these details day in, day out, and every day. We talk about everyday mentality, want-to-know mentality, but that really takes precedent right now because, we only have 3-4 weeks till this first game. So I think that, like I said before, the details are critical.
John Sauber?
Hey, Sean, where do you feel you need to improve as an individual, and where do you feel the team needs to improve in order to get over the hump and reach the college football playoff?
I think that, I just need to keep improving every day. I've never doubted or felt like I didn't have the talent to be a college football playoff quarterback. I wouldn't be here if I didn't, if I did. So I think that, this team just needs to keep grinding. I think that we have the players. I think we have the talent. And we just need to keep on focusing on the 1-0 on every single thing that we do, whether that be studying film, whether that be playing a game, or whether that be in practice. We just need to make sure that everything we do is intentional. Because if you look at the things that we messed up on last year, it was a terrible game. We had 10, 15 plays that we missed. It was one or two plays here and there and that's what's critical about what Coach Franklin has preached to us, because we all know the talent that we have, and we all know the capabilities that we can have this season, but it's all about the work ethic and what we're going to do day in, day out to get there. So.
Greg Pickle.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for your time. Just curious what it was like to get the pads back on yesterday and the moment in practice where you felt like, it was real and it was time to really get into camp and get ready for a season, maybe the moment or play that kind of got things going in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I'm not going to lie. I'm not getting hit in practice. So the real feel of football and hitting somebody for me will be the first game. But, I always talk about I'm going to take every rep like it's a game rep. So if there's someone in my face, I know he's not going to hit me, but at the same time, I'm evading him at all costs, acting like he's about to tackle me. So I think that for me, I won't get that true real feel until that first game. But yesterday was just fun to see everybody's faces. We haven't been in pads in a long time. Like a very long time, honestly, without spring ball. The last time really we were in pads where it was the Cotton Bowl. So I think that it's been an extremely long ride, but yesterday I could see the excitement on everybody's faces. I thought that some of the hits yesterday were awesome, just to hear the pads going again and get some of these young guys some experience with, what college football is really like.
John Petishnock.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Hey, Sean. I remember talking with you earlier this summer. At the time, I believe you were home in Ohio, and you were talking about just how much it meant to spend time with your family and Liam. Looking back on maybe the overall summer, the time that you spent at home, how meaningful was that time for you, and kind of just to have that time with your family when you look back on it?
Yeah, I think it was extremely meaningful because you look at what we have now, we don't even know if we're going to be able to have our families at the games currently. So I didn't take any of that for granted. There's a lot going on. COVID has been detrimental to this country in more ways than not. And it's been, I'd be lying if I didn't say it's been a lot of sad times, but I think the one thing that I tried to make sure throughout this whole time, throughout the whole pandemic and the time I was home, was just make sure that I'm around my loved ones. My mom, my dad, my brother, my grandfather, everybody back in Cincinnati, in the safest way possible. And I think that, I didn't take any of that time for granted. So now I have to sacrifice some time in my life away from people that I love, but I think that they realize that how important this is to myself, my teammates, and the community. So I'm willing to make that sacrifice 100 times out of 100. So I'm just excited to play football and be with my football family now.
Evan Petrick.
Sean, so week 2 is arguably the biggest game of the season against Ohio State, and it's going to be the first time that you guys are in Beaver Stadium without any fans in this kind of unprecedented situation. What do you anticipate that atmosphere being like, and how do you think it's going to impact the game, and what are you guys doing to kind of plan for that?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even know we had Ohio State week 2. All I care about is Indiana right now. That's pretty much my only comment on that.
Bias Wilborn.
Sean, what was that first week like of college football? Because you guys didn't know you were coming back yet. What was that first weekend like for you? And then from there, what was once you realized that now you had to rush?
I think that the work that we put in, day out throughout the pandemic, I think that the rush, like, are you talking about the rush of catching up? Or are you talking about the rush of, like, I'm trying to understand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, like the feeling of, yeah, we're actually going to get to play.
Oh, yeah, no, that's I would say that watching, the whole thing transpire, because I'd be lying if I didn't say it's been an up and down roller coaster, because, we went from having the pandemic, no football, no workouts, no nothing, coming back, finally getting in the facilities, enjoying that time, and then getting into practice and then getting that taken from us, and then now getting put back into football. It's been an up and down. It's been a whirlwind, honestly. But I think that rush of seeing on Twitter, I will say this, and I think that it is critical that people understand this. I mean, I'm a fan of social media. I enjoy it. I think that it's definitely a good tool to use. But at the same time, I think that how people use social media sometimes is kind of bizarre. I think that how, like, and I'm not trying to bash anybody out here on the media, but sometimes the media is trying to portray and try to catch these segments and try to be the first one to say it, like, oh, Big Ten's back, or Big Ten's is not playing this year, and it's tough on a lot of these guys' mental, because obviously we want to play, and it was like a week before, and I'm hearing all these things about, Commissioner Warren has had a conference meeting with all the Big Ten officials, and they are not playing. And we're all going to Coach Franklin. We're like, what is this? And he's like, it's. I mean, I haven't heard anything. So I would just advise for people when they go on social media, and especially to the media, just to make sure that you think about everybody. You don't just think about, okay, am I going to be the first one to be saying this? Have the real facts. If it's a real fact, then I'd put it out there. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that are putting out whatever they can just to get clickbait. And it was definitely something that I saw a lot of this past couple months. And I think that it wore on a lot of my teammates. And that's why I say it, because I wouldn't say it if I didn't think it mattered.
Gabe and Jerry?
Hey, Sean, hope you're doing well. I know it was an unusual offseason for you and your teammates, but how do you kind of get on the same page with Kirk Straka and adjust to his new offense during these unprecedented times?
Like I said before, communication. Communication's always been very important. I think that Coach has been constantly in communication with myself and all the other quarterbacks and anyone who really has a question on the offense. From the very beginning, from the Cotton Bowl to our departure and our stay at home during the pandemic, and I mean, which is still going on, obviously, but the beginning of it, he's did nothing but great when it comes to if I shoot him a text showing him some clip of tape, he's going to reply and make sure that I understand every bit of why he called this, or why maybe Tanner threw this ball, or why he didn't throw this other ball, why he read something the way that it is. I think that communication has been critical. And I've learned so much just through talking it out. I haven't had to be on the field. And I think that that's a trait that I knew was very important. Film watching is extremely important, but when you have to play catch up like this, especially learning an offense, I think that's, it goes up tenfold. And I think that we've done a really good job as a team of making sure that we're using every day to the best of our ability.
Tyler Donahue?
Sean, I'm sure you got the Pat Freiermuth confirmation that he was on board for 2020 ahead of any of us. But as we're speculating, you talked about all the speculation with Big Ten. The opt-out was a whole speculation. How were you kind of going through that process with Pat? Was he bouncing anything off of you? And what did it mean to make sure that he was staying with you and going to have him on the field this fall?
Yeah. I thought that was pretty comical, just because it's just another thing that people were trying to be the first to say is Pat Freiermuth is opting out, when the whole time I literally would be throwing with him on the side and talking to him constantly. And I think we were out throwing and we were just talking, and we get on Twitter and he's like, well, I guess people think I'm opting out now. And it was never even a conversation with Coach Franklin or myself. Pat was very honest with me. He didn't want to opt out, obviously, as he's playing now. And I think that, he's excited for the season. So I think that was something that was, again, I think people were just trying to be the first to it, and it wasn't even true. So, again, I would just say, just make sure your facts are straight before you start getting online.
Andrew Porterfield.
Hey, Sean, thanks for doing this. You and Will Levis are the two most experienced quarterbacks in the room now. What have your memories been like with him, and what kind of personality does he bring to the locker room?
Yeah, Will is a great leader. I think that, he helps me every single day, pushes me to be the best quarterback that I can be. And, you talk about the memories, I've had so many now with so many guys, but, Will and I are in constant communication because we have to be. I take a rep, he takes a rep, and if those two reps differ, we need to communicate through that. So, his relationship and mine has grown a bunch throughout these past couple years, and especially during this pandemic as we've been trying to learn this new offense over FaceTime. Calling with questions, talking through different situations, because you want to be in constant communication with Coach Shurmur, but at the same time, it's also very good to talk through it with another player, because when you're on the field, you're not going to be able to talk to Coach. You got to have that mentality with the other guys of what you need to accomplish. So I think that Will and I have been really close throughout this whole time, and that's what's made us such great friends. And I think that it's only expanding now.